Let me officially get this going. Okay, cool. All right, you guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hi, friends. My name is Summer Forbes. I am here today with listing specialist and team leader Vince Travalino and buyer specialist Mike Bundi. We thought it would be fun to just get together and kind of give a little bit of insight on how Vince and Mike came together. They're on this team, Travalino Real Estate Group, and we just thought it would be fun to get a little bit of a personal touch and learn more about these guys. So from my understanding, you guys have a little bit of a fun story of when you guys first connected. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Who wants to tell that love story?
Well, I mean, I'll start, and then we'll let him jump in when he wants. So I guess 5 years ago, when I was just starting, 6 years ago, was somewhere in that range. Well, those who follow me on Instagram know I'm a Cinder Bar advocate. Okay, I'm there probably more than I'm at home eating dinner. But anyway, food's delicious, by the way. Anyway, so I was at the one Swedesboro, Clarksboro, and I was at the bar and I was having some drinks, and I met Mike. We're sitting there, we're talking. He's from Williamstown, from Franklin. We know so and so, blah 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 blah. He's talking. I'm like, man, I think you'd be great at real estate. That guy just one of you know me. Everybody I meet, I'm like, hey, if you ever consider real estate, I'd love to help you out. But he just kind of had the natural flow, the personality. It's going to sound funny, but I pay attention to how my servers treat me, because obviously that's always just a direct reflection of how they treat people, right? Mm-hmm. And he was just going above and beyond, and his customer service was great. And I'm like, if you could bring that personality, the care, and that customer service to real estate, I didn't know what he was making at the time, but we were talking a little bit about finances, and he asked me about real estate, and I was like, I'm telling you, you got it. And you'd fit great in real estate. So, we talked about it.
Yep.
And then it was a journey.
It sure was.
We would touch base. I'd randomly text him like, hey, how you making out on that real estate school? Oh, I got to get signed up. I'm like, all right, we're ready.
Yep.
And then he would randomly text me like, hey, man, I'm still thinking of you. Like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go get my schooling.
It was so hard to get away from the restaurant industry there. I have 15 years experience in the industry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Vince would always come in, and I always appreciated him in a way he would reach out, but I would always also get nervous because I kept putting real estate on the back burner. I wanted it, but I was so secure and so comfortable, which comfortability is never good for most. I know at least myself. Mm-hmm. When I get comfortable, I don't want to grow. So he would come in and I would dodge him. I'd have other people wait on him sometimes, especially if I just failed my real estate exam. It was definitely a process. And from him encouraging me, though, I decided to buckle down and finally put it on the front burner, stop delaying, get serious. Even if I had to, call out for a few shifts, and then I finally passed.
Yeah. And I remember there would be a lot of calls, because if we kind of dive really into some of the motivation behind a change of life and a change of lifestyle, there were some things that Mike, was going through. And he was also mentioning, when you're out late at night and you're closing down bars till 2 a.m., it takes a toll on your relationship life, your family life. And that's kind of really what started me with my motivation to say, okay, I know what this guy wants. And I can see he's passionate about it. He really wants change in his life, and wants to get, not that it was a bad industry, it just wasn't for him and his lifestyle where he wanted to go with this life. So that was another big push. I'll push anybody and support anybody, but
you gotta put in work.
You gotta put in the work. I'll lay out the roadmap, but I'll give you the time and effort, but you gotta match. And I'll get where you want to go.
He said, I know what I can do for you. You just gotta be willing to put in the work. I already know what I can do. I gotta see what you can do.
And then 3 months later, eventually when he did something, that was 5 years later.
Yeah, then 5 years.
Oh my gosh. Wait, yeah, you're right. You guys first met 5 years ago. Vinny's follow-up game's pretty good.
Oh, the power of persistence. But again, it was always a genuine call. It was caring. But again, I'm not going to do the work for you, because that's not going to help anybody. But I'll be there. I'll support you. But once you put the work in, I'll match it.
That's awesome. That's such a cool story, how you guys connected.
It is cool. Now look at him.
It's so much. I just can't believe it. And Vince, one of the best things Vince says is, and I started quoting it, you know, the quickest way to take over an island is burning the ships. So if you want to do this, you know, hey, I get being 50-50 or part-time realtor, but he's like, if you truly want to go after real estate, you give me your full commitment, let go of everything else, I got you. Yeah. And he's definitely held true to his word. It's just been an amazing experience. I mean, I thought I was going to be this starving artist in the beginning, and I thought I was going to have like one person, maybe like an aunt from like way back when, but no, Vince has guided me, taught me, you know, it's a great mentor, motivator. I just can't thank him enough.
That's awesome. So
I don't have the rights to that. I think I heard it on a Tony Robbins or Jim Ryan video, but it is
not a paid advertisement.
Just so I don't get a bill in the mail or invoice. But no, and it's so true, and that's what I try and help and guide everybody. And I guess it's more so of a mentality standpoint where you're at in life. But that's just the absolute truth. If you want to take over the island, you burn the ships. What it really just means is don't give yourself a plan B. I mean, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous for it too. He talks about don't have a plan B, because when you have a plan B, you will land on it. You'll know it's there. You'll get comfortable because you know it's there. And eventually, what's a plan B if you're not going to use it? So plan A is the way to roll, and if you burn the ships, you got no choice. You got to take over the island.
Yeah.
An example of that would be, you know, I kept saying, I was like, you know, maybe I should go take 2 ships a week. You know, and I would justify it in my mind as it's great networking, it's quick cash, I can stack all my real estate money in the bank. But then, you know, life happens, things happen. So again, but he's like, do you think going back to that cycle, working those late nights, are you going to be able to be on time for work the next day?
Yeah.
Things like that. Or instead of, if you're worried about that, switch your kind of your go mode and focus on real estate and start hammering those calls, lead generate, do these things, you know, work with some renters to get your quick cash, you know, then, because, you know, things take time. Real estate is a process. It's not an overnight thing. But if we can just tweak our focuses and figure out what our motivations are, you know, and hone in and keep it within real estate, there's always avenues which you can go down to complement what your goals are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. And Vince has definitely helped me hone in on that and stop times when I wanted to get maybe or felt shaky. And I'm like, I need that real estate. I need that quick cash. I mean, restaurant, I need that quick cash. He's like, hold on, we don't need anything. We want it because it's what we're used to. It's comfortability.
Great. So then kind of like what you said, like Vince just being there for you as a new agent and getting your feet wet and just diving right in and being there for support. I mean, do you, just from your experience, how important is it to be in an atmosphere where it is a team, where you know your back, like somebody has your back and somebody's right there beside you, versus just kind of being an agent on your own, or just jumping into that big pool of agents where you may not have that one-on-one time? I mean, how big of a difference do you think that makes?
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's almost unexplainable because of the fact that, you know, I myself thought, sell a house, put a for sale sign out there, it's gone like that, people get paid, and like, I'm gonna be this big millionaire. You know, and like, okay, you want to buy a house? Like, cool, let's go hang out. We're gonna get you this house. The steps that go into it are just, if you're not in it, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, not educated. So therefore, too, joining a team, why I think was beneficial for me, especially being so nervous to fully commit to real estate. I feel as if I went on my own, you know, I'm sure there's other brokerages out there that offer different splits and percentages, which are great. But for me, this was great because I needed somebody to teach me the ins and outs of the transaction process. Somebody who already is established, who can feed me with leads, you know, who's there for me to answer my questions at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. when I'm having these emails coming in.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to assist people. So having the guidance, reestablishing confidence, working with me on my approaches. I mean, it really is. There's a whole science, business, marketing. Without his guidance, I definitely would have, I think, starved before I would have saw a check. And I think that if you're worried about your expenses, I mean, it does cost a lot of money to get started up, or a decent amount. Some people don't have it. But if you want to get leads, let's say, you have to pay for those. It's awesome to join a team. I'd rather sacrifice, you know, a part of my split, let's say, to have business pumped to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's been the team experience has just been unreal. I mean, we also have a great transaction coordinator who's amazing. She does a great job explaining the transaction side of things, keeping our business organized. And Vince is just, I mean, he's not only a mentor, he's a friend, motivator. He's almost like he's like my new family member. Just became like this brother that I call for like random things. You grow a relationship. It started with business and then it transferred into that. It transferred into so much more. And I think the growth of this is just going to be, to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Mike's been a great add-on, and he's helped out a lot with what we're striving for as a team and as a group, and what my values are and what they stand for. And, the thing I just wanted to add on, thank you again too for everything, is, I have a coach myself, and I always have a coach. There's been years with and years without, and I track all of my statistics, all of my numbers, and it doesn't lie. There's a big difference when you have a coach and an accountability partner or a team leader. When I first started, I always give credit to Tom Duffy. He took me under his wing, just like when I was Mike and getting started. He taught me the right ways. And, my biggest philosophy on joining a team is, again, what he was saying is, you give up that initial income, but really the amount of knowledge and guidance and resources that you get, they tenfold. And it's like, okay, you might be able to do this on your own. You can. Anybody can. It's just, do you want to fumble all the way till you get to it? So everybody's personality is different. But for me, I'm a firm believer of you join a team, you can learn in 3 years what would have took you maybe 6 to 8.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's one of my biggest reasons for coaches and mentors, and I still have one. I always have one.
Yeah. I think that's huge too, especially too, in this industry, quote unquote, you're your own boss more or less. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, it's very easy to say, I don't need to get up and be up at 6 a.m. today. Yeah. I can just hang out. I got this one deal going on. I'm just going to focus on that and get comfortable or make excuses. I know myself, if I don't have something that's holding me accountable, and if I say I want to do something that's like, hey man, listen, you said it, you made it real.
You better do it.
Mike knows for sure. If he wants to accomplish something, don't tell me.
Benny, what happens
when we're late? We do push-ups for every
Benny's made me do push-ups when I've been late because I said I was going to be there at a certain time.
Oh my gosh.
So, but it's those things. But I'll tell you what, it's that holding accountable. It's definitely pushed me to be better. I've already surpassed numerous goals that I thought were going to take me a lot longer, thanks to Vince's guidance and his coaching. It's just done so much. The biggest thing, though, is the accountability. The kind of shut up and listen. Why I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'd rather learn from somebody who already knows how it works.
Yeah, and doing well at it and succeed.
And I'm the same way. I look at myself, even though I'm a team leader, I still look at myself as a student. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly being coached. I'm constantly being mentored. And it's a commitment to that lifelong journey of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So being being a little bit more of a seasoned agent and newer agent, each of you, what were kind of your first biggest struggles when first starting out?
Me, and again, this is why I'm so big on coaches. Mike hit on it a little bit. Again, nobody's making you wake up, right? So when I would first start off, again, I had Tom pretty quickly. I was only licensed on my own for 6 months till I knew I needed change. And that's a whole nother story for another time. And we can talk about that next. My journey. It was rough. Credit cards maxed the whole 9 yards. I had to go into the gym and do physical training just to pay the credit card bill.
Yeah.
But for me, I have the mentality of I'm a lifeaholic, really. I love life. I love enjoying life. I can outwork anybody, but I tend to be more of a lifeaholic. Just seriously, I like to just enjoy things. I like to take days off. I like to just kind of hang out. Now, it's way different when I know I have those weekly calls with my coach, when he's checking in 2-3 times a week with me. And I'm like, you're right. And it's true, that's my personality. I think one of the strongest things that I recommend is identifying who you are, being okay with that, and then building support around your weak spots. So that was my biggest struggle. Again, I was very similar to him in ways to where I would just kind of get comfortable. I'd be like, all right, I got these deals going. Next thing you know, hurricane hits and the deals all start falling apart. And then you're like, oh my gosh. And then what you do today reflects 90 days from now. Now you're just back into the whirlwind. You're back into the hurricane, wind flying. You got, shelves coming off the market. You don't know what to do. So my biggest thing was identifying my weak spots and building support and teams around it.
Yeah, that's
gotta be real.
That's a good one.
We'll all get into real estate because we can make our own schedule. Okay. Really,
yeah, it can be flexible, but not necessarily making your own schedule. What about you, Mike? What was your kind of biggest overcoming?
So definitely the accountability. Definitely the accountability was one. Structure, two. I think also, kind of the talk. Everybody can kind of talk the talk, but it's also you have to be able to walk the walk. So I think it was important for me having the coaching, especially being a new agent. If I don't know something and I'm forced to kind of walk that walk, you can hear it in my voice. You can see it in the way I sit, things like that. I get very nervous. I'm used to being pretty good at almost everything I do. I've, again, prided myself on being the best bartender, the best server, restaurant connoisseur, the whole nine. Learning real estate, the proper verbiages, how to work around problems, especially I'm good on, face-to-face, but on the phones, I still struggle with that on the phones. If somebody tells me no, I'm used to people telling me yes. Well, okay, let's calm down. Let's listen to what the client wants. Let's see what they're saying. So that's where working on that, fine-tuning those things, becoming better, identifying the weaknesses, which that is definitely one of my biggest
Which
ones.
we just talked about on our coaching call.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was literally our coaching call about how to identify, how to really put our mindset. And if you're okay with me sharing?
No, absolutely.
It's one of the things, because again, we get in this business and we get pumped up and, freshly seasoned 3 months in, you're excited. You want deals. You want to close. For me and for my team and values and what we stand for, which Mike agreed to and what he stands for as well, we get lost in it, and that's why we coach on it. It was having that conversation around we're here to help. Okay, really, you could say we're sales associates. We do point out the features and the benefits, but essentially, and I recommend this for any agent, is when you put yourself, we're a servicing business and we're just here to help them. The homes will sell themselves. We're just here to help. And that we had a really good coaching call on that, about how to always put that in our forefront in our minds when we go into every single call. And that's what attracts all the other stuff, to making sure you got enough business in the pipeline. You don't overspend. You keep everything tracked well. So then this way you don't need one deal. It's tough starting off though, because you're just starting off. Like you said, there's a lot of expenses up front, but we had a good coaching session around it, about keeping that at the forefront. We're still here to service. Yeah. Maybe because we didn't lead gen enough or we don't have enough deals doesn't cause, and I've been there before. That's the only reason why I know it, why I'm able to coach on it. Just because we're struggling financially or we're in a bind or we want to go buy something that we need that money for does not reflect on our clients, and it never should.
Two magnets.
Yeah, two magnets. Yeah. We're not pushy. We don't push people. Let them. We ask the right questions, and we're here to help. That's all.
Yeah. Part, because you need something. You need that deal to go through, because you want to go. You promised, your significant other you're going to go on vacation, so you're dependent on that money. So you need that deal. We don't need anything. We want to help people. Right. That's why I always enjoyed the restaurant industry, being around people. I always enjoyed kind of seeing the whole world be stuffed before I took a bite of food. Yeah. And that's, we want to help. And that's kind of one thing that I loved about Vince. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't cocky, conceited, nothing like that. He genuinely wants the best for each person. And it's definitely a lifestyle, and getting on the team too. That's the other thing I neglected to talk about. We include out of work activities, you know what I mean? Getting involved in each other's lives. So also too, like for instance, I've had some things where I needed Vince to kind of step in with some clients, from outside stuff. I think it's just truly important. I can't describe it enough.
Yeah.
It's the guidance. It's the guidance and the help. And, for example, for his first closing recently too, it was the guidance that the team brought and that I brought. And, once you're seeing it all the way through, then it starts to make more sense. You've done it. You got the confidence. Now you got a little bit more swagger because you've done it. You know it now.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you guys are certainly a service-driven team. And I mean, it shows. It shows to outsiders, it shows the clients, it shows to people, anyone's watching you. You guys got a great team together supporting each other, and yeah, it's great. I love it. I love to hear it. Absolutely. All right. Well, it was certainly awesome hearing your story, how you guys met, your, biggest first little struggles personally and with business. I think it's just some great insight to get from you guys. So it was certainly a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be doing more connections and getting more insight behind the Travalino's real estate group. And I think it's exciting. More to come.
Yeah. No, I'm excited too. And, if anybody has questions or people want to see this more often when we come on here and talk, if you have questions, I'm happy to come on and answer them. We can do it weekly or monthly, however we want to do it. But I appreciate you making time for us and coming on here, and Mike sharing his story.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time as well. And anybody that's thinking about a career in real estate, definitely reach out to Vince, come down and sit down, see if any questions can be answered.
Yeah.
Come join Team Travalino.
Yeah. Again, this is not a paid advertisement.
It's not. That was a good punchline. I do love it.
This is the truth.
I mean, again, we do have,
slide it in when you can.
we do have mission, visions, and values and all that stuff. We got to make sure that all fits, and everybody's. Yeah, you'll be a good fit. I'm sure. I trust that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's
Well done, though.
That's awesome.
His coach is a good one, I'll tell you.
One of the best. Well, that's awesome. I love it. You guys are great. And I think we should definitely connect more, get more insight, behind the scenes type things. I think it's great. Great for people to see.
Yeah,
all right.
Thanks again for your time too.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right.
And thank everyone for tuning in too, taking a look at the video, listening in. And yes, until next time.
Thank you.